Hi friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Juan. I am a yarn addict. That's why I'm called Juan the Yarn Addict. And today I bring you a holiday motif. It's featuring the traditional Christmas colors. It is a 9-round motif, and it is a textured motif. It's raised like so, like that. And this is what the back looks like. This particular motif, I was a little sloppy with the join, so I went ahead and made another one here. It's a little neater. And it is comprised, like I mentioned, of 9 rounds, which includes double crochets, cluster stitches, V-stitches, front post double crochets, and popcorns, as well as trebles, doubles, half doubles, and singles to finish out the square here. Okay. And so if this interests you, please keep watching. If you enjoy this content, please give me a like, hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, and also hit the notification bell to stay up to date and current with all things regarding me and my channel. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about some more of these details. This particular square measures roughly 8 inches. Okay, and yeah, so the yarn that I used was, or is, because I'm still working it, it is Loops and Threads Soft Classic Acrylic. It comes to us in 354 yards, 7 ounces, 324 meters, and 198 grams. They do recommend a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, and it is considered a medium 4-weight yarn. It is a very full 4-weight yarn. I highly recommend this if you're able to get your hands on it. If not, any 4-weight yarn will work. Okay, and for the green, I used the colorway Ivy. And this label here is Craft Smart Value Yarn, and this is the older label. This is the newer label, same company. They just updated the labeling, and the yarn is acquired from Michaels. And for the green, I used Craft Smart as well in the colorway Bright Red. Okay. All right. So without further ado, we are going to get started. Let me just grab my hook and tell you which hook I'm using. If I can only find it. Here it is. Okay. So the hook that I'm using is a prim hook. It is a 6 millimeter hook, not the 5.5 the yarn recommends, otherwise known as US letter J. Okay, and so let's get started. We're going to start with white. And with this white, what we want to do is create a slip knot on our hook, just like that. And then I'm going to zoom us in so you can see the stitches a little better. Okay. Now what we want to do, let me back that up a little bit. Okay, what we want to do now is chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, after you've chained 5, go ahead and slip stitch into that first chain, and then slip stitch to connect everything, and just give it some tension, pulling this down and pulling your yarn here. So that way you have a nice clean circle here. And now what you want to do is chain 1. It's not included in anything. It's literally just to get us to the next round here. So for the first round, what we want to do is we want to do 16 double crochets. So we want to loop over, go into our circle, grab the yarn, pull through, wrap the yarn around the hook, go through 2, wrap around the hook, go through 2 more. And we want to do that 16 times. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so just keep doing that. You want 16 double crochets, and I will meet you at the end of the round here. Okay, guys, so I've reached the end of round 1. So now what we want to do is we want to slip stitch into the very first double crochet, which is going to be this right here. It's a little tilted to the side, and rightfully so. I mean, we only chained one to get us to the round, so that very first double crochet may be on a little bit of a tilt, which is fine. Just make sure to grab that stitch there. We want to insert our hook into those 2 strands of yarn, like so, like that. And then we want to wrap the yarn around our hook and pull through, and then pull through like that, okay? And then what I like to do is to just take the tail from the chain 5 and give that a little bit of a tug, and it will close up that hole, just like that. And then we're going to take the scissors and give it a little bit of a snip there. Okay, so it's nice and clean. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to change colors. We are going to go to color red. So we want to cut a nice tail here. Let's change over the yarn. Okay, so with the red here, what we want to do is kind of match the tail in the beginning here. So if you have about this much from the white from round 1, so for round 2 you want about the same, like so, like that. And then what you want to do, what I like to do, is I pinch the yarn to the project just like that. And then let me just get my fingers situated here. I hold the yarn like I normally do, is I guess what my point is. And then I pinch the new yarn to the project. I loop over and pull that through, just like that. Then I lay it back down, and I just tighten everything here. What I do is just do one tie like that, just taut, not too tight. And then I give everything a tug before tying it a second time. Just like that. And when I do it the second time, I go pretty tight. So it should be not loose, not tight, just right. Okay? So the next thing that we want to do, let me just gather my tails here. And I also like to hold on to the tails as I'm working. As long as you do that, there's really no need to sew in. There will be some rounds where you do have to sew in your tails, but I try to minimize that as much as possible. So this next round is just going to be, I guess, cluster / puff stitch. It's more of a cluster. But what we want to do is chain 1 here. All right, and then now what we want to do is go right into that very first stitch that we came out of from round 1. So this was actually the join. We're going to go back into there. And what we want to do is wrap over, go into the stitch, pull the yarn through, wrap over, go through the stitch again, pull more yarn through, and you should have 5 loops on your hook. And then we just want to pull through all 5 and chain 1 to lock it in. And as long as you're holding on to this yarn, you're good. And I like to hold on to it for a couple more stitches, like 3 or so should do it. So now what we want to do is the same thing as what we did here. We want to wrap around, go into the stitch, pull through, wrap around, go into the stitch, and pull through. You should have 5 loops on your hook. Wrap around and go through all 5. Chain 1. I'll do it one more time. Make sure you're holding onto your tails and you're keeping it taut. And you don't even notice they're there, as long as you're doing it like that. Wrap around, go into the stitch, pull through, wrap around, go into the stitch and pull through. You should have 5 loops on your hook. Wrap around and go through all 5. Chain 1. Okay? Go ahead and do that, and I will meet you at the end of this round. Okay, friends, so we just finished round 2, and so you should have 16 of these cluster stitches. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And now what we want to do is we want to close this off by going into the first double crochet, well, not double crochet, the first cluster stitch here. So if you notice, there's two here, and if you separate this, there's two stitches. There's the stitch of the cluster and then the chain one to close it. We want to go into that very first one, just like that. Okay, so let's insert our hook, pull through, and close off the round. All right, and now we need to join the white. So what I like to do is just grab the white and try to keep it as long as the tail from the row previous. And then I like to just hold on to the yarn the way I normally would, like this. Loop over and go through the hoop. So now what I want to do is pull on the red nice and taut. I'm not too worried about the white right now. So the finishing color we pull nice and taut. And then let's just go ahead and tie. Let me slide this up a little bit. Just taut. Give the white a nice pull, and then let's go ahead and tie this again. Okay. All right. So now for round 3, we want to chain 1. And we are going to be working in between these clusters. So all the way around, in between the clusters, we are going to be putting in V stitches. Okay. Now while we work, we want to hold on to our tails here. And we're going to go into that very first chain space, and we're going to put a double crochet into that chain space. And then we're going to chain 1 and then put in another double crochet. Just like that. That's a V stitch. And now we're going to go into the next cluster space in between here. We're going to put in another double crochet. Chain 1, double crochet. Just like that. And then I'm still holding on to my tails. I'm going to go one more with holding on the tails. In between those clusters, we're going to do a double crochet, chain 1, and then a double crochet. Just like that. So if we look on the back side, like so, like that, we're just going to go ahead and snip off that tail. Now you can sew in your ends if you want, but we've tied it twice and we've held on to the tail here, so it's not really necessary. So now we're just going to continue on with these V stitches, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And we're going to continue doing this all the way around until we reach the end of round 3. Oops. Okay, so double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, just like that. So go ahead and continue on with this round, going in between these cluster stitches with a V stitch, as I just showed you. And I will meet you when we get to this part here. Okay. Okay, friends, so I've reached the end. I reached the end of round 3. So there should be 16 sets of V stitches here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. And now what we want to do is we want to slip stitch to the very first double crochet, which is right there. Okay, it's a little tilted to the side facing you, only because we chained 1 to get to this round. So yeah, I mean, you'll find it tilted this way instead of upright like that, and that's fine. So go ahead and insert your hook, loop over and pull through, and then go through just like that to do the slip stitch. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to go and change colors again. So what we want to do is we want to change to the color green. So let's go ahead and cut off a tail. So we have about that much. All right. Create as much of a tail as you want. It's totally up to you. I would recommend leaving a slightly longer tail so you have more to play with in case something goes wrong. But what you want to do is kind of match that with the new color, just like that. Doesn't have to be exact. So pinch, set up your yarn, and then just loop over and go through the old color with the new color. Flip it down, take your old color, and pull taut. Pull everything taut, okay? Then pull on your new color, so there's some play there, but it's not too loose. And then just tie once. Not too tight, just taut. And give everything a nice pull. I find that if you go easy on both ends, it's a nice balanced knot. And then now that everything is taut, you can go extra tight with this second knot here. Okay? And so like the previous rounds, what we want to do is chain one. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to do the popcorn stitch in between each of our V stitches. Okay, so we're going to just get right to it, but make sure you're holding on to your tails. All right, so wrap around, go into the V stitch, and perform a double crochet, and you want to do that 5 times in each V stitch. It's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, then we're going to create a bunny ear and go into that very first double crochet. Go into your bunny ear and pull it to the first double, chain to close, and then chain to carry. And actually we should do one more. So it's to close, chain, and then chain. Now let's go to the next V stitch and do another popcorn stitch. 1, 2, 3, and just mind your tails. Pull them over if you have to. Sometimes they'll bubble up, it's fine. It's 3, 4, and 5. Do a bunny ear. Go to your first double crochet, go to the bunny ear and pull everything taut. Close it, and then chain 2. And I'm going to carry these over one more time, and then I'm going to snip whatever's left. So go into the next V stitch, and we're going to do 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Do a bunny ear. Go to your first double crochet in the row there. Pull everything taut and close it with this with a chain, and then chain 2. Okay, so remember, 1 chain to close it, 2 chain to carry. And now I usually wait till the end of the round, but these tails are really long, so I'm just going to snip it now. Okay. And now we can just carry on business as usual. Go right into the next V stitch here with 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Bunny ears. Go to the first double, and then make everything taut. Close it up. Chain to close, and then 2 to carry. Okay, and it should look like this. You'll notice that this is pulling back. That's absolutely fine. That's what's going to create the raised effect on this motif. Okay, so continue on putting popcorn stitches in the rest of these V stitches, and I will meet you when we get to the final V stitch. Okay. Okay, friends, so I've reached the end of round 4, and you should have 16 popcorns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. And now what we want to do is we want to connect. So for the last one here, I closed and then chain 2 as I did with the rest. But now what we want to do is we want to go into the stitch that we used to close the first popcorn, which is that one right there. Just go right in, grab your yarn, and go through that loop, just like that. Okay? And now what we want to do is we're going to change to the color red. So let's go ahead and give a tail, just like that. Now, what we are going to do is bring our new color over. About the same length. Pinch our work with the new color and the old color. Loop over and go through. Lay it down like so, like that. We're going to take the old color first. We're just going to pull that snug. It's okay that it's looking like that. Just pull this nice and snug. And then now we're going to pull the red. See how it grabbed the hook? Bring your new yarn. Bring it down like that. So just pull everything nice and even. And then let's make your first knot here, so that it's taut, not tight. Give everything a nice tug one more time, and then we're going to go in and we are going to tie it nice and tight this time. Okay? So that's what this should look like. I'm going to back this up just a little bit. Okay. So for this round, we are going to be doing front post double crochets, and we're going to grab each side of the V-stitch from not the previous, but 2 rows down. So the second row down, I'm sorry. So to get started with that, remember, let's hold our tails like so, like that. And then we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to go down and just grab the one side of the V-stitch and do a front post double crochet. And then we're going to grab the other side, and we're going to do another front post double crochet. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we are going to chain 2 and go right to the next one. Front post double crochet, and then front post double crochet. Now if you notice, we're working in front of. That's fine, because what we're going to do is we're going to pop the popcorn through this hole here. Okay, so let's get a couple more done, and then we'll backtrack and we'll push the popcorns through. So once you've done your 2 front post double crochets, you're going to chain 2, and you're creating a window for that popcorn to go around, like that. So instead of having to work around each one, I kind of want to make sure that my stitches are even and not uneven because I'm working around a popcorn. So it's just easier to pop them through after the fact. So just do your front post double crochets on each one, and then chain 2 to create the window for your popcorn, just like that. It is a little tricky working in front of the popcorns as well, but it's fine. So I've created 3 here so far, and what we're going to do, let me just loosen that up. We're going to open the window and push the popcorn through, like so, like that. And what we want is for the red to kind of sit behind, just like that. Okay, you can do it as you go, or you can wait until the end of the round, but you want these front post double crochets to sit in between the popcorns like that. Okay, so I'll do a couple more front post double crochets with you, But first, let's chain 2 because we are going over a popcorn. Oh, we're not. No, we are not. Almost missed that one. So we're going to do front post double, chain 2, front post double crochet, front post double crochet, chain 2, front post double crochet, front post double crochet, chain 2, front post double crochet. So continue on with that pattern there. It's 2 front post double crochets, chain 2, 2 front post double crochets, chain 2, and just remember your chain 2s need to be above your popcorns. Okay, so continue on with that, and I will meet you at the end of this round, which is round number 5. Okay, friends, so I reached to the end point of round 5. I just wanted to point out to you guys that as we approach the end here, this very first V-stitch where we chained 1 to start the V-stitches on that particular round, make sure that when you're doing the front post double crochet that you're going around the chain space as well, just for continuity. You don't want to leave that hanging there. So just do the front post double crochet, and then what we want to do is we want to slip stitch into the very first front post double crochet, just like that. Okay, and then per usual we are going to be changing colors. This time we're going to be changing over to the color green. So let's go ahead and cut off a tail. All right, and let's get the green situated here. If you notice, I did not hide my tail. You actually can't hide the tail on this particular round because you're doing front post. It was just virtually impossible to do that. So these will have to be sewn in. Okay. So just make sure that when you are joining your new color, you are pulling the right tail. Okay. So with the new color, just grab the same length. Okay. Do a loop and go in. Lay this back down. What you want to do is you want to pull your old color nice and taut. It can get confusing with all these in the way here. What I like to do is pull down on the new yarn. This is the new strand here going in. I leave it down here, and then I will take the 2 new colors, tie lightly like that, pull on all the things, 1, 2, and 3, just pull so they're nice and even, and then I will go ahead and make another knot here, nice and tight. Okay, so let me just get myself situated here, set up my hand. Okay, so for this particular round, we're going to chain 1 per normal. It's not included in anything. And what we want to do is we're going to do, well, first we're going to start with a double crochet. And the double crochet will need to be inserted next to the front post double crochet and next to the popcorn. So if you pull this apart, you're going to see, let me pull this back here so you can see better. There's 2 rings going around. We're going to join those 2 rings together. Okay, we're going to make those 2 rings one. So in order for that to happen, we need to loop over, go into our space here in between the front post double crochet and the popcorn. And we want to make sure that we're grabbing both rings while we're pulling through. Okay, and we're going to do a double crochet. And let me just make sure I'm grabbing the right tails. Okay, just like that. So let's do a double crochet and go into that space, and it should look like that. Okay. And now what we want to do is do a front post double crochet, and what we're going to do is we're going to go around both of these. Just like that. We're joining those two together as one. And then now we're going to do a double crochet next to the front post double crochet. So it's going to be double crochet, front post double crochet, double crochet. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to do a front post double crochet around this popcorn. And what that's going to do is it's going to push that popcorn out and make it stand out even further than it already does. So we're going to loop over, insert behind the popcorn and go around, pull through, and just do a double crochet like that. And then in this chain space here, we're going to do a double crochet right there next to the popcorn. Okay. All right. So this is a good time for me to just trim that tail to get it out of the way. We still have these from the next round. I'm going to place you guys on pause and I'm going to sew in these ends really quick. Give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay, so I am back. The ends are sewn in. It's all gone. All right, so just to recap, we did a double crochet, a front post double crochet, and then a double crochet before the popcorn. So 1, 2, and 3. And then we did a front post double crochet around the popcorn and another double crochet. Okay, so we're just going to repeat that pattern. We're going to do a front post double crochet around the 2 previous front post double crochet, so the 2 will become 1. And then we're going to do a double crochet before the popcorn. We're going to do a front post double crochet around that popcorn, and then we're going to do a regular double crochet after the popcorn. So in essence, it's going to be double crochet, front post, double crochet, front post, double crochet, front post. There will be no 2 stitches side by side that are the same, if that helps. So front post and then double crochet, and then front post around the popcorn, and then double crochet next to the popcorn. And it should look like that. And if you notice, it's nice and flat. This is what the back looks like so far. It's kind of nice. All right. So I'll do one more repeat with you guys. So we're going to do a front post double crochet, and then a double crochet, and then a front post double crochet, and then a double crochet. Okay, so continue doing that, and I will meet you at the end of round 6. Okay, friends, so we are at the end of round 6, and this is what it should look like. You should have ended with a double crochet here. Actually, no, you double crochet and then you have to go around this popcorn. I do apologize. You do need to go around that last popcorn. Okay, so single crochet, front post around the popcorn, and then we started the round with a double crochet here, so we're in sync with all of the stitches here. And then what we want to do is go into that very first double crochet and do a slip stitch to close out that round. And this is what it should look like. Let me just back up the camera a little more. Okay, get that out of the way. So yes, this is what it should look like. All of this is raised with the exception of round 6. Round 6 should lay flat. Round 6 should not cup at all. The stitches were counted. Everything is great. We love it. And just to confirm, you should have 64 stitches all the way around your circle. 64 stitches, okay? And then now what we want to do is we want to cut a tail, sorry. Let's cut a tail, and we're going to change over to the white. And we're going to join the white. Like so, like this. No matter how many times I join colors, it's always like, how do I get my hand situated? Okay, so we're going to loop the new color into the old color, lay it flat, and pull on the old color, pull on the new color. The new color, I just kind of like how I keep it down below. Just get my yarn situated here. Okay, so this is the new color here going in, and these are the two tails. So I just pull everything taut, not too tight. Just tie it once, give this another pull, and then let's go ahead and tie again nice and tight. Okay. Let me just get myself situated here. Okay. So we're going to hold on to the tails per usual. And what we want to do is we're going to work back into that stitch that we just came out of from the slip stitch. Okay. That's where we're going to insert a treble crochet. But first, let's chain 2, and then now let's do a treble crochet right into that stitch there. 1, 2, 3. And then in the next stitch, another treble crochet. 1, 2, 3. In the next stitch, another treble crochet. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to do 2 double crochets, but since we've done the trebles, we can drop our tail and move on. So 2 double crochets, and then we want to do a half double crochet, and then we want to do 4 single crochets. Oops. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then now what we want to do is the reverse. So we want to do a half double crochet, and then we want to do 2 double crochets, and then we want to do 3 treble crochets. One, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's chain 2. And then a treble crochet in the next stitch here. So make sure to wrap over twice. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then in the next stitch, another treble crochet. 1, 2, 3. And then now 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. And then now a half double crochet. You should see a pattern at this point, but I'm going to go through this with you. And then after the half double crochet, we're going to do 4 single crochets. Next sorry about that, guys, sorry. So picking up where we left off, 4 single crochets, and now we want to do a half double crochet. Now we want to do 2 double crochets, and then now we want to do 3 treble crochets. 1, 2, 3, just like that. Chain 2. Okay, this is what we're looking like so far. It's coming out nice. Loving it. It's great. Okay, so now 3 treble crochets in each of the consecutive stitches. And then 2 double crochets. Then a half double crochet. And then 4 single crochets. Now half double crochet, 2 double crochets, and 3 trebles. Chain 2. Let me just make sure. Not yet. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me just make sure here. So 4 singles, half double, 2 doubles, yep, 3 trebles. I'm not getting ahead of myself. Okay. Chain 2, and now 3 more trebles. 1, 2, 3. Now 2 double crochets. 1, 2, and now we have to do a half double crochet. And then 4 singles, a half double crochet. We want to do 2 double crochets, and we want to do 3 treble crochets. So it's a little tight here. 1, 2, and 3. That last one's going to be a little tight, but that's where we want to make sure we insert that 3rd treble crochet. One, 2, and 3. And then to join, we are going to do a half double crochet in the first treble there. So loop over, pull through, and then just do like that. Okay. And everything is as it should be. Okay. There is a little curvature, and that's okay. What's important is that the circle is intact and you have the base stitches to create your square. So that is round number 7. And I went through the entire round with you just so that you guys felt comfortable and didn't get lost. So if you have to rewind this section back to just re-walk through the stitches, if you wind up not at the correct place at the end here. But moving on, we're going to go to round 8. So to begin round 8, what we're going to do is chain 1. And we're going to go right into the stitch we came out of. So single crochet. And we're going to apply single crochets all the way around the square here. It's pretty straightforward and simple. Single crochets. And then I will meet you at this first corner. Just continue on with the single crochets. I'll meet you right here at this corner. Okay, friends, so I'm at the corner here. Just wanted to make it a point to show you guys that once you reach the corner, it's a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. But you also want to make sure that you're going into that very first treble, which can sometimes get missed when you're going quickly. You just want to make sure that you're going in to that loop right there. You don't want to miss that stitch. And then you can continue on with your single crochets as normal, like so, like that. Okay, and then just continue on with the rest of the round, and I will meet you at the end of this round which is round number 8. Okay. Okay, friends, I'm at the end of round 8, and you should be here in this corner. So I just wanted to show you guys, to do the join, you just want to make sure that you go into that very first set of stitches there, and just want to go in. It's a little tight, but that's fine. Grab your yarn, slip through, chain 1, and then go back in with a single crochet, like so, like that. And this will be the final round, another round of single crochets. And just remember, for your corners, it's going to be single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and just go all the way around. And yes, I will meet you at the very first corner, just to make sure that we get around the corners correctly. Okay, I'll see you there in 1 second. Okay, so I've reached the first corner here, and I did a single crochet and chain 2, and we're going to do another single crochet. And I wanted to just stop here to point out that, you know, in the prior rounds we were going through trebles. This time we're going into a single crochet, and more so than not, I mean, it can get overlooked. So if you have to, just pull back a little bit and look for that loop here, and insert your hook for that single crochet, just to give the correct stitch count all the way around. You don't want to short one side over the other, because it'll throw your blanket off a little bit, or whatever project you're working on with this motif. So yeah, go ahead and continue on, and I will meet you at the end of the final round, which is round number 9. Okay. Okay, so we're at the end of round 9, and I just wanted to show you guys that, let me just pull this out a little bit. So for the corner, I did a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. It can get a little confusing with single crochets in the round here. So you definitely want to make sure you get the first stitch of the previous round, right? And then what you want to do is make sure to slip stitch into the correct stitch. So if you just hold this correctly, you can see that this stitch here was the join from the previous round. We don't want to go into that. I accidentally make the mistake of going in there, and I had to pull back and actually take a look and see what it is that I was doing. So I did that also to show you guys that it's very easy to make that mistake. So this final round, you want to do chain 2 in between your 2 single crochets, right? So single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and then just do the 1 for the first stitch from the previous there. So you should have 2 there. And then now what you want to do is, this is your join, skip that and go to this and just slip stitch right into that. And then now what you want to do is you want to chain 2, create a tail, pull through, and then I usually just hold very loosely here and pull tight. And it creates a very tight knot there. Let me zoom down. And then I'm going to sew in my ends. I'm learning to do that as I go, because I do not like ends all over the place that have to be sewn. I've had many projects like that. Okay. So before I pull through here, and I try to get in between the fibers as well. It gives it a better hold. And I do a zigzag. So I go 1, 2, and 3. Then I'm done. If you notice, I have a needle here with a big eye. I don't have the patience to fight with the yarn. So I use this kind of needle here. It makes my life so much easier here. Let's get into those fibers. Do a nice pull here. Come on. Okay. There we go. Let's do a little snip snip. And then I tucked tails here from a few rounds ago. I forgot to clip those off. So let's get that done. Okay. And so, yes, just straighten that out. And let me just back this up a little bit. Okay. It looks so nice. And of course, you know, there will be a little bit of imperfection in terms of like how this works out. But as you continue to make these motifs and join them, if you guys want a tutorial on how to join motifs, I'll be more than happy to provide that for you, or provide you with links to other creators that have already done it. But yes, all the stitches are there, and as long as they're there, when you piece it all together, it's going to be perfectly fine. Your squares will come out amazingly perfect. So yes, that wraps up this tutorial. It looks great, guys. 9 rounds of all this yarny goodness. Okay, so yes, Holly Jolly Circles, that is it. If you enjoyed this content, please give me a like, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and also hit that bell to stay up to date and current with all things on my channel. I thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch this video, and until the next one, guys, take care.